Hi, I'm Shez from One Bite More and welcome back to One Bite More TV. Now, one of my favourite baked goods to come out of my kitchen, out of all the cakes and muffins that happen here, has got to be a freshly baked hot scone slathered in strawberry jam and cream. And today I'm going to show you how to make your very own scones in less than half an hour. So by the time you get a call from people saying they're on their way, you'll have them halfway to the oven. We're going to start with 2.5 cups of self-raising flour. We're just going to dump that straight into our bowl. To that we add our spices and sweeteners. We've got a tablespoon of sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon each of ground ginger and cinnamon. So they go straight in, mix it around a little bit with your hand, and to that we're going to add about 30 grams of cube butter. Now, I'm not too accurate about this, just thumbnail bits. And what we're going to do is we're going to squish them into the flour so they can all go in too. And what we want to do is just squish them between our fingers so all of that lovely fat gets covered in flour. And the reason we want to do that is because the fat, when it's heated up in the oven, melts and releases water and steam, and that lets some nice flaky layers happen as the steam causes the Now we're just going to use our fingertips and not our whole hand, because the whole hand is quite warm and our fingertips are probably the coolest part. We don't want the butter to melt, just to get distributed evenly. So I'll do this for a little bit and I'll show you when I'm done. Well, I've been doing that for about a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and this is what we've ended up with. You can see it's nice and crumbly, not too chunky, but at the same time not too fine. If you really can't be bothered rubbing in with your fingertips, use a food processor, but use it on pulse instead of doing it on full blast. Should also mention that my oven's going at 220 degrees in fan forced mode, so it'll be nice and hot by the time we're ready to bake these, which will be soon. All we need to do now is add 1 cup of milk. So I've made a little well inside my flour, and I'm just going to tip the milk straight into that well. All of it's in. And we're just going to push the flour into the middle. Now it's quite handy if you've got one to grab a butter knife and just use that to cut the flour through the milk to start off with whilst turning the bowl. And the reason we do that is because instead of getting really sticky fingers and having it go everywhere, the butter knife helps without it being, you know, the thickness of a wooden spoon and so stirring it a bit too much. Now we'll slowly bring that together, and after a little while it'll start to come up with a soft dough consistency, which is exactly what we want. Now you don't want to work this too much. Got to keep the touch nice and light, because we don't want the gluten in the flour to develop, because that will make our scones tough instead of light and fluffy. So that is pretty much there. So if you can see, what we have is a nice soft sticky dough. It's not entirely sticky, so it's not all come together yet. We're going to dump that out on our countertop. We might put a little bit of flour down, just plain flour, no need to have self-raising for this, just to stop it from sticking. And we'll work this into a nice little fat ball so we can cut out our figures. Get all of that out. Okay, put that aside. So you can see our nice squishy dough. We're just going to push it together with our hands, not working it too much again, and then squash it down. Okay, so we want it about maybe tops 2.5 centimeters tall, because they'll rise a little bit in the oven. And if I can find there we go. Got a ceramic baking tray that's just been nicely buttered. You can use any baking tin for that. We're just going to use a nice round cutter. Just do it that way. Push straight down, don't bother twisting, lift it up, should fall into your hand, and we're just going to pop them straight into our baking tray. Now when we lay them out, we want their sides to touch each other just a little bit, because as they expand and grow, that'll help them to pull each other up. Nice squishy sounds. So you should get about 7, 8, maybe 9 scones out of this recipe. So I'm just going to keep cutting these. Okay, now we're going to bunch it up again for our second cut. Make it a little bit higher this time, because every single time you work it, the scones won't rise quite as high as the last lot. You want even scones so people don't fight over them. A little bit sticky there. Let's work it one more time. I reckon we'll get 2 more scones out of this. Okay, 1. And more. Just a 2. Okay, if you like, you can brush them with a bit of milk or egg wash, but I'm just going to put them straight into the oven. I'll see you in 15 minutes. And we're back. 15 minutes later, I've cleaned the kitchen. The scones have just finished baking. I'm gonna go grab them. Here we go. Take a look at them. Now I wish you could smell these. They're really lovely and fragrant from all that cinnamon and ginger. I'm just going to see if I can pull one out here. Oop. Crack it open for you. Look at that, nice and fluffy on the inside. Look at how much they've risen from the 2.5 centimeters. Ooh, hot. And I'm just going to put a dollop of jam on each one. Got some lovely blackcurrant conserve. So 1 on you and 1 on the other half. And I've whipped up some cream as well. So lots of cream, I think. Much better than a little bit. Woo! Runaway cream. Let's get all of it on there. And brewed a pot of tea. Lemon and ginger, my favourite. So let's try them. I think I'm going to have to talk to you later. Bye!